I'm live. Still setting up, as always. Okay, I gotta wait for the, okay. Go. Press that button. Press this button. Now press that button again. Let's see, what other buttons do we have to press? Oh, I know. I forgot to.
Hey folks, thanks for checking this video out. Here we're continuing our deep dive into compression and how the parameters of a compressor are going to affect different instruments. This time we're taking a look at synths and keys, so let's just jump straight in. The first thing I want to say is about different types of keyboard instruments. I'm using keyboard instrument as a kind of umbrella term here, where I'm talking about essentially anything played on a keyboard. So pianos, synths, they all fall into a couple of different families. You've got percussive stuff and then sustained stuff. Take a listen to this synth. It definitely falls into the more percussive side of things, and it's kind of getting in the way of the vocals. So let's take a listen and then see how we can combat that. Now, the compressor is on here, it's engaged, but the threshold is all the way up, so it's not actually taking effect.
I don't know if you saw that I posted a video up to my story. I've really been struggling with chronic fatigue lately. So I don't know. We'll see how. Oh, thank you, Mafra. Mafra. I don't know how to pronounce that.
You gotta stop if it's slowing down. You walk a thin line
I've been really fatigued
between peace and a battleground.
Here I was just kind of overlapping the vocal in the verse. Well, by using compression we can make it sit a little further back in the mix. I'm actually going to be quite aggressive here and listen to things in the mix to get the threshold right. Then we'll discuss the other parameters and how they're affecting the sound. So let's listen in the mix and bring this threshold down, then we'll talk about the settings.
You gotta stop if it's slowing down. You walk a thin line between peace and a battleground. It's daylight. You gotta stop if it's slowing down. You walk a thin line between peace and a battleground.
Okay, so you can hear that I'm being pretty aggressive there, but it's about getting out the way of that vocal. So what I'm going to do is just discuss the controls a little bit and see how we can shape this and see what's really important here. So just like with drums, the attack is about the initial hit, so it's about how fast it's going to attack. And in this instance, because it's a percussive kind of synth anyway, this is really the thing that's controlling how fast it's coming down and how much of that initial hit we actually get rid of. The ratio is playing a part here as well, but let's just bring this attack up and we'll hear how the hit just comes through too much and it's going to get in the way of the vocal, and we haven't really done our job if that's what's going on.
and I went off to school. It cost a lot of money, but I am no fool, cause everybody knows that you need an education and find a good career and wealth accumulation. Now I'm graduating and I'm looking for work. Nobody wants to hire me, I feel like.
So for me in this track, where I'm trying to get out the way of the vocal, this is allowing too much of the hit through, the initial percussive element. However, if that's what you're going for, if you're trying to make your synth more percussive and more attacky, then this is a great technique. You can bring the threshold down so you're really clamping down quite heavily on the synth, and then just bring that attack up. So here I'm kind of approaching 200 milliseconds, and that's just allowing all that initial hit to get through. So if you want to make it more percussive, that's a great way of doing it. Just lengthening that attack and just allowing it to come through. The ratio is all about how much we're compressing, so if I bring this attack down to kind of where it was before, pretty fast, then as I bring this ratio down, we're not going to hear as much squash. And for me, when I'm trying to get rid of the synth getting in the way of the vocal, it's not going to be as effective. We want quite a high ratio, but let's just take a listen as we bring this ratio down to 1 point something to 1. As we bring it up, we're going to start to get more aggressive and essentially more compression. So you can can see it on the trace here as well. The more the orange line comes down, that's the peak reduction. You can see if it's hitting here, that's minus 5 dB of peak reduction. Here it's minus 10. So as I bring that ratio down, you're going to see that it's not compressing as much. There's not as much gain reduction. As I bring the ratio up, we're going to see there's more. Just take a look one more time.
I guess what happened? Okay, this is not right. I gotta take a screenshot. It's telling me my live is restricted.
So as I have that ratio up at like nearly 7 to 1, we're getting almost 10 dB of gain reduction, and that's cool. You know, if that works, then it works. But at lower ratios, we're getting far less gain reduction. The release is very important for the tail and the body, because what we can do with this is we can make it so that we're really just kind of getting the hit, or we can make it so that we're lengthening the sustain as well. If you're checking out this orange trace as we just were, then how much it comes up, or should I say how steeply it comes up, the kind of gradient, that is the release parameter. That's how quickly it's coming back to life. The shorter I have the release, the quicker it's going to come back to its uncompressed state. So in effect, what we're doing is we're saying release really quickly and come back to a non-compressed state. So we're slamming down on that transient and then saying allow that body to come through. So in effect, in relative terms, we're kind of turning the body of the sound up. As I bring this release down, you're going to hear that body just come to life, and as it's longer, you're going to hear it just clamps down even more. So I'm going to start off with the release a little bit longer than I normally would. As I bring it down, just hear that sustain come back and really turn up.
So I don't know, I'm just gonna not finish that song, and I'm gonna see what happens with the appeal. And if the appeal is rejected, I may just end the live, because that's just totally not right, that I should be restricted. And if you're not following me, by the way, please follow me. And then if I restart the live in a little while.
And having a really long release time is also kind of having an effect on the attack, because you're not allowing it to fully release before the next attack period takes place. It's not releasing fully before the next portion of the sound crosses that threshold. So that's really important. If you want to have some body there, if you want to kind of lengthen the sustain or increase the apparent level of the sustain, then you can bring that release down. If you want to make it so we're compressing quite a lot for quite a long time, then bring that release up and make it pretty long. So the threshold is the point at which it's starting to compress. In this instance, where we're trying to get rid of the clashing between the vocal and the synth, this is going to be really important, and as we do at the front of the video, it's kind of important that we listen and that we've got these settings kind of dialed in here and it's sounding nice. We've got a really quick attack, really quick release, and that's okay because we're trying to kind of attack this sound, but the threshold is the point at which it starts compressing. And listening in the mix, this is kind of the human element to it. This is the right, where is it that it actually needs to happen. So listening in the mix, you can just tune this and make it so we're just getting out the way as much as we need to and not completely destroying the sound altogether.
You gotta stop if it's slowing down. You walk a thin line between peace and a battleground. It's daylight. You gotta stop if it's slowing down. You walk a thin line between peace and a battleground.
To me, that's getting out the way nicely, and if we actually listen to that in solo, then you'll hear it's quite aggressive.
Me for no good reason, but they rejected the appeal. Actually, I think I may know why that happened, and I can't tell you because if I say what happened, then I get restricted again. Oh, thank you, Allison, for the follow.
We really are bringing down the level quite considerably. The most important thing here is that it's working in the mix. Nobody's going to listen to your synth solos. That's not what it's all about. You can hit the solo button and you can hear it, but who cares? It's what happens in the mix, and that's the most important thing.
You know, he played in high school bands. Well, in a high school band.
So if we're dealing with percussive synths and keyboard parts, then we're going to be approaching them in a similar way to individual drums, and that's when we're dealing with percussive synths, because we're knocking off the peaks and getting them to kind of sit back and get out of the way. It's also adding a kind of subtle fattening to the sound and rounding things out. But on the other side of the coin, for more sustained keyboards, I personally like to approach them kind of slightly differently. So this keyboard part is kind of chilled. It's an electric piano sound from Contact, and it's a bit more of a sustained chord part, but the attack is just kind of missing something, and the sustain doesn't really feel like it's enough. Well, compression can solve both these issues, so check it out and then we'll dive in. Again, I'm going to bring this threshold all the way up, so it's on, but it's not doing it.
I'll just write one. I figured out how to do it. But the first thing I needed to know was, what am I going to write about? And at the time, I was in business school, studying for my MBA.
Okay, so what we can do with this is something completely different, and something that is far more subtle, because this kind of part, it doesn't really need slamming with compression. It doesn't need the transients fully taken away. It just needs some overall kind of hugging and some overall warming up. So if I start to bring this threshold down, you're going to hear this compression start to take place, and it's going to start to just everything kind of gel together a bit more.
And I was always a misfit there. You know, I never felt like I fit in Wharton, and I was really probably never should have gone there. I was there for the wrong reasons. I just didn't know what I was doing with my life. And it just seemed like, well, I was depressed at work, and I met this guy on my.
So we're approaching this in quite a different way. It's bringing up the low end a little bit, and it's just overall gelling things together. I'm not trying to completely destroy the transients, and for that reason I've got the attack up at just over 100 milliseconds. We're allowing a little bit through. The key difference here really is the ratio. Previously we were at about 7 to 1, something like that, because we were being quite aggressive. Here we're at 2.5 to 1. So this is much more relaxed, much more gentle on the sound, and allowing everything to kind of come through a little less affected. So even though the bits that are getting compressed, they're not getting compressed as much. Just take a look at the orange trace here and we'll see how much compression we're actually getting, but it's a different kind of shape of compression. It's not real transient stuff, it's more of a sustained compression.
Or should I do a song that expresses what I've been going through lately? I told you I've been struggling with this.
So we're actually getting maybe like 8 dB of compression, but it doesn't really sound like it because we're not using too aggressive settings. We're compressing for a considerable portion of the overall sound, but it's all compressed. So it's kind of the same as, instead of it being just really percussive and compressed and then quickly not compressed, we're compressing for longer periods, and we're kind of compressing a lot more of it. And that's due to this threshold being down quite a long way, so we're actually compressing for almost the full duration of the signal. And the thing you can notice here, or the thing that is kind of, I guess, difficult to notice, is that it is very subtle, and it's about having something that just gels together. You hear the effect in the low end, you hear the effect in the overall sustain, you hear the effect in the attack, but it's when you A-B it that you're actually hearing the difference and how much better it sounds. You're not actually just listening to it and thinking, wow, that sounds smashed, that sounds really compressed, but without it, it kind of sounds a little bit empty. But then with it, we're doing something completely different than with the percussive side of things. We're just gently hugging stuff. We've got low ratios, a relatively long attack, and fast release. Remember that fast release is going to allow us to bring the body up. So one more time, bypassed, and then with the effect on, you hear it just come together a bit more, a little bit more gelled, a little bit more together.
Saving you a trip to the store, or a neck rub so you feel pampered, or some togetherness behind closed doors. Anything to bring your world a little light. Every day till the day I bid this world goodbye.
We could go a bit more heavy-handed with this if we wanted to increase the ratio. We'll hear that this alters the attack as well. It makes the attack kind of come through a little bit more because we're allowing the attack to come through. To me, it sounds a little cluttered and it sounds a bit too compressed, but to you, it may be absolutely perfect for your track. So let's just increase this ratio a little bit and get a bit more compression.
My heart's one desire is, I wanna make you happy.
we're completely changing the overall kind of characteristic of it there. I like the kind of mellow sound that it had originally. I just wanted to amplify that a little bit. Changing the ratio to having it to around 7.7 to 1, essentially 8 to 1, we're making it so that the attack is far more pronounced, and we're really changing the sound of this keyboard. If that's what you're after, then this is a great way of doing it. Keep the attack so the initial percussive portion is coming through, bring that ratio up, and it's going to make it so that you've got better attack on there. But to me, in this track, I needed it to be a little gentler, so having that ratio kind of 2 to 1, 2.5 to 1 was a bit better suited. I hope it's been useful for you, and if you want to check out how the parameters of a compressor are going to affect other instruments in the mix, make sure you check out the rest of the videos in this series. There's numerous ways that we can compress a synth or a keyboard part. Those are just a couple of them, and hopefully that's giving you some sort of direction. If I want to increase the attack on the instrument, then I can go and alter the attack and the ratio in this way. If I want to increase the sustain, then I can bring the release down. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care.
Hi, Kay. Welcome to my live. I'm Seth Hillary Jackson. I do original songs and I tell stories. So Lewis is here. Dania.
Hey folks, thanks for checking out this video in our series on compression. This time we're focusing on guitars and bass. So let's just jump right in. In this example I'm going to be working on, we have 3 different types of instruments. Firstly, we'll look at lead guitar lines and then some strummed acoustic guitars. Then after that we'll move on to the bass. In the picked guitar lead line, we're looking at controlling the attack. I'll show you how the attack and release controls play a big part in this. Then with the acoustic guitar, we're looking at bringing down the transients so they're not popping out too much, but also bringing up the low level information to give the instrument a bit more of a rounded sound. The reasons we compress guitars are quite different to the reason we compress a bass. In my mind, there's one key reason you want to compress a bass, and it's pretty similar to the reason we compress vocals. Some notes are going to ring out more than others, and that will take the listener right out of the experience. We want everything to be as consistent as we can, so the bass just provides that solid foundation upon which everything else will sit. First off though, let's take a look at guitar, because depending on the role the instrument is playing in the mix, we'll be approaching it quite differently. With that in mind, although we're listening to the instrument in isolation, to get a feel for how the compression parameters are affecting the sound on a micro level, we also want to be thinking about it on a macro level, so how those small changes are affecting the role of that instrument in the mix. If something sounds great in isolation, that's only half the battle. We also need to know that what we've done has done its job in the mix as well.
I just thought I would jump in and see if I can do it. So I have what's known as long COVID.
So this lead part is quite almost percussive. The pick is a big part of the sound, but there's a danger that we're just going to hear that pick and not get a sense of the whole note. Compression can really help here. So I'll start off by just bringing the threshold down at some pretty standard settings, and we'll just hear how things are affecting it.
Song. You know, I try to, take my struggles and turn them into songs that, go through self-expression, and also maybe can be comforting for other people who are going through similar struggles. So I wrote this, and it was a challenge to write a song about long COVID, because I didn't want to use the word COVID. I thought about that. That's a terrible word.
Okay, so we're bringing down the attack slightly. I think we need to delve into these controls a bit more closely though to really understand what's going on. So you'll see that I've got auto gain engaged at the moment, and this is going to come into play when we take a look at the threshold and ratio, because we're really going to be bringing down the level considerably, and auto gain is kind of just compensating for that, but we'll leave it on just for the moment. Let's focus on this attack control, because we've got a pretty healthy amount of compression going on here. The threshold is pretty low, and we just want to see what the attack actually does to the sound. If we have it down too low, it's going to be chopping off those peaks entirely, so that percussive element goes away. If we have it up too high, then the whole note is going to come through, and we're not really going to be shaping that transient at all. We want it kind of in the middle of those two. So let's bring it down all the way to start off with, and we're going to hear it really chopping stuff off, and then we'll bring it up and just hear where that kind of sweet spot is.
It's a long
Okay, so this setting, 16.8 milliseconds, around that point, we're actually getting a bit more of a percussive sound. It's kind of making it a little bit more choppy. Anything that was below that was really cutting it off. And you'll hear as I A-B, so as I bring bypass on and off, we're just getting a little bit more attack. It's becoming a little bit more percussive.
I truly hate the whole notion of learning to live like this. I'm gonna have to keep hoping.
As I bypass the plugin, you're just hearing the life kind of go out of it in that percussive sense, and it's really getting a little bit more choppy as I bring that attack up. So the reason for that is because we're allowing a little bit of the transient to come through, and we can see that here on the trace as well. We're just allowing a touch of that transient to come through. In the same way as we would with drums, we're just allowing a little bit of that top of the note just to come through. That's kind of set nicely. What I want to do though is bring the auto gain off, and you're going to hear how the level of the guitar actually comes down considerably.
With the lead ball.
It's kind of starting there.
Have to drag along like an endless climb, a daily grind.
So this was the point at which we had the threshold before, and you can hear it's coming down an enormous amount. So auto gain is important for that kind of thing, but it's also important to understand that we are bringing that down a considerable amount. So although we're dealing with the overall kind of timbre, the overall kind of shape of the sound, we're also dealing with the level quite considerably. So if we bring auto gain back on,
There's real danger in the air.
it does come back up. But let's just turn it off again just for a moment and just hear this ratio, because if we bring this all the way down, so previously it was on 5.3, we'll just remember that. If we put it at 1:1 where there's no compression taking place, then we're not going to hear that level drop because there's no compression taking place. But as we start to bring that up, we're starting to attack the sound more. And when we're telling it to compress, as we bring that ratio up, we're telling it to compress more, so the level will drop.
How's everybody? Seems like a slow night compared to other nights. I don't know why. Maybe because I haven't been live in a few days and it's like not
You
pushing
can hear
me
that
out
with the
as much as
threshold
it
down here at -30,
is
even
weird.
a small change going from kind of 1.5 to 1 to
Here
2
we
to 1
are.
can make a
We're
significant
having
difference.
fun, right?
But we had
Okay,
auto gain
you know what?
on,
I'm
so
gonna
our ears
read the
were
song.
being
I
objective
haven't done
about
it in
it,
a long
and we
time.
could hear that with the ratio
And
at kind of
I
5,
pulled it out
5.3,
last time and I
we were
messed it
chopping
up.
off enough that it was
Thank you,
leveling
Sydney,
stuff
for the
out,
like.
and to my ear that was sounding good. So
I kinda
let's
messed
bring
this
this back
song up
up with the
because
auto
I
gain
put the
on,
cable
and
on
we're
the
going to be
wrong
bringing
fret.
down a decent amount of
But
the
now-
overall sound.
I think I have it on the right fret. So I hopefully won't mess it up this time, but we'll see.
And you'll hear that as I bring that ratio up, in relative terms, the attack is actually getting kind of louder because we're allowing that to come through relatively uncompressed, and then everything else after that is getting compressed more. So as I bring that ratio up, you'll just hear that attack become more percussive and more apparent.
It's not all up to me. There's so much there's so much I can't control on this long and rocky
Okay, so let's do an A-B just on a small section, and we'll be able to hear the real difference they've made to that initial attack.
No idea what's coming. I just keep my seatbelt fastened and the motor running. Got no idea what slings and arrows fate might throw at
So we know that the attack is going to govern how much of the signal is allowed to come through before it compresses. The ratio is how aggressive that compression is, and the threshold is how much of it is being compressed. But what about the release? Well, the release is kind of the body, and if we have that too fast, then it can really chop stuff off, because if we have the release right down low, we're essentially telling it just to compress for a very small period of time. And that's almost getting towards a kind of a distortion effect, almost getting towards a kind of a clipping thing. We're telling it to just chop that transient off and then come straight back up, and that can sound unnatural.
There's so much I can't control.
Really choppy, really aggressive. But if I brought this up to the kind of default 100 milliseconds, around where it was before, we're going to hear a little bit more of a natural sound.
Got no idea
So in this particular instance, the release is not having as much of an effect as it would do in perhaps a drum track or a vocal, because as you can see from the trace, there's not really any point that it's coming back up to 0 compression, so that release stage never really happens in its entirety. It's more about this kind of gradient, as you can see here. If we had this down really low, then that would be a much steeper gradient. If we have it up much longer, then it'd be a much longer gradient. In this particular instrument, it's not as much of an issue, but as we move on to acoustic guitar and bass, we're going to see how that really comes into its own. So one last time, this electric lead line plucked kind of percussive thing without compression and then with compression.
Got no idea what slings and arrows fate might throw at me. Just gotta have faith that where I am is where I'm supposed to be. Got no idea what slings and arrows fate might throw at me. Just gotta have faith that where I am is where I'm supposed to be. I'm just
So it's pretty loud in the mix, but you can already hear that percussive element is kind of coming through. It's poking out the mix just a touch, and it's getting a little bit more of that percussion to the lead part. So for acoustic guitar, we've taken what we've learned from the electric, the pick line, and we're kind of applying it here, but we're often being a bit more gentle. With acoustic guitars, it's very easy to overdo stuff. It's very easy to make them sound unnatural and aggressive, and we don't want that. We want them to still be acoustic guitars, acoustic instruments, but we just want to tame them a little bit. So I've just got some basic settings here, and I'm going to bring down the threshold, and we'll just do a little A/B comparison between non-compressed and compressed. Okay, so we're being a bit gentler, but we're adding a little bit to the body of it, and we're trying not to cut off the transient too much while still kind of reining it in a bit. So let's see how these controls are affecting our acoustic guitar. The attack's at around 50 milliseconds. If I bring that down, then you're really going to hear how we're cutting off far too much. We're really getting basically no attack there at all, so we don't want that. We want to bring that up to the point where we're getting enough attack, but it's being reined in enough. And this is going to vary from guitar to guitar, song to song. For my song, 50 milliseconds felt about right, but let's just gut check that. Let's bring that up. Yeah, so it's cutting off the transient enough that it's reining it in, but not enough that it's really taking control too much. If I bring that attack up a bit more, then we're going to hear how it's just not reining in the transient quite enough. Yeah, so around 50 milliseconds attack, me personally, I think that's reining it in just the right amount. With the ratio, we can get very aggressive very quickly. So you'll see how I'm on 2.3 to 1. So I want to be slightly gentler on this than I was on the Pix electric guitar, because I don't think it needs it. It doesn't need anything too aggressive. As I bring that ratio up, you'll hear how that aggression really takes place. And this is linked to the threshold as well, but just as I bring this ratio up, you'll hear how it's really attacking the initial transient so much more when I bring it up just a little bit more than 2.3. So as I went up to almost kind of limiting territory, up to 9-1, it really got quite aggressive and it really was slamming down on stuff. And this is going to affect the attack and the release and how they behave as well. So for me personally, having a low ratio, 2 point something to 1 or maybe 3 to 1 is where I'm typically aiming for acoustic guitar. But let's just hear that threshold and how that's going to affect things as well, because we can just bring this threshold up to more towards 0 and just affect the peaks, or as we bring it down, we're affecting more than just the peaks and we're affecting that low level stuff as well.
And I haven't talked to this person since then, and I don't feel like talking to them, but I probably will at some point, and I'll have to tell them that I know they did that, and I felt good, and that they proved the point of the song. So anyway, the usual disclaimer, but you know, the thing is, even if you don't like, even if you're offended by the song, you know it's true. The usual disclaimer is that life's changing, it's going too fast, we want to slow it down.
It felt like as I brought that threshold down any further than -20, it was just kind of destroying any of the real note there. And we want to bring that low level stuff up, of course we do, that's part of the job here, but we're just doing it too much by bringing that threshold down too much. Now the release is, again, we want this to kind of shape the sound. It's got more of an effect than it did in the electric guitar part, because that was all about the attack, that was the real percussive stuff. If I bring the release all the way down and then just start bringing it up, we'll see what we hear. So with it really low, we're just getting rid of the attack and we're just coming straight back up again. When I get in this kind of region around 150, somewhere between 100 and 200, you can start hearing that bottom end just come up slightly, and that's the breathing of the instrument. That's where we're bringing up the low level stuff, and you can think of this as a kind of a body control. As I bring this release up, we're starting to get the overall kind of tone of the instrument, and that's being allowed to come through. So the release is when it stops compressing fully, when it comes back up to no compression. For me, somewhere in the 100 to 200 region is kind of right for this, because it's allowing it to breathe. Anything too fast, it's just chopping off transients. Anything below that, and it's not really compressing the low level stuff in there. So again, the release control on guitars, don't destroy stuff, don't make stuff bad, because it's not as important as it is with drums or a vocal. It's about just letting things breathe, and as long as you're not chopping things off too much, then your job is kind of correct. If we were to perhaps just pop that on auto, then that would maybe be somewhere in this kind of region, in the 200 milliseconds kind of area, and this is going to listen to the audio and work out a good kind of setting for it. And we can see what the release is as this the gradient of where the line, where the orange trace comes back up after it's taken effect. So we can see when I took it off auto, the release got kind of a little bit steeper. So to me, it feels like the auto is actually saying, let's not be quite as fast as that. So it was maybe up in the 300 milliseconds kind of area. If we just pop auto on again, I kind of liked what that was doing. And don't be afraid to use auto settings. You know, we are learning what to do here and we're learning what all of the controls do. But if to you the auto release sounds good, then it's good. And that is something that you should maybe explore. Yeah, it just feels when I've got the compression in there that the body is kind of coming up, it's being tamed slightly on the attack, and it just feels a little more together. So let's put it in the mix and see if we've kind of done our job there.
This was inspired by a trip
So there's a little more attack on it, and it's just bringing up the overall body of the sound a bit more to gel in with the rest of the track. To me, that's a nicely compressed acoustic guitar that sits in the track a little bit better. It's shaving off the transients so that they're not attacking our ear too much, but we've still got that percussive element there, but the whole thing just feels a little more gelled together. So when compressing the bass, it's important to define the reason we want to compress the bass. So the reason I want to compress this bass, because I don't want any note to be louder than any others. And this is going to be achieved by some fairly heavy-handed compression, but I'm going to show you how to make it not destroy the tone of the instrument. In fact, we're going to be adding to the tone. I want to play the bass in isolation, but also play it in the mix to see how we're leveling it out and creating some cohesion. One thing you may notice is that as I'm leveling these notes out, it's not as if I'm putting a brick wall up there. That's going to be unnatural. There's a slight volume difference still, and that's okay. It's more about making small changes that alter the overall feel. So let's take a look. So I'm going to bring the threshold down and start to kind of hear what's going on. Now, famous hardware compressors that are used on bass guitars have famously extremely fast attack times, so they're really clamping down on transients. So I am going to be pretty fast with my attack times and just see how that's affecting the overall sound. So we attack at around 35, release at 57, ratio at 4. Let's just see how it sounds. Let's bring that threshold down.
But this lyric is more poetic than normal. So I was wondering if this was even going to be anything, but it turns out a lot of people really like the song. I've had a lot of requests for it. So I'm going to play it for you.
So we're kind of adding a little bit to the bottom end, and we're evening that bottom end out, but just attacking those transients a little. So if we were to bring this attack all the way down, we'll hear that we're actually destroying that initial plank, that initial pick, which we don't really want, especially in a track like this, which is kind of aggressive. We want that there.
Your eyes from a Rembrandt star, the night sky brushed with a silvery glow.
So because we're being quite aggressive with that, you'll hear as the really low attack times, it's getting kind of a little bit distorted and a little bit unnatural. So we don't want that. We want it to allow the initial transient through and just bring that attack up so it's adding to the percussive effect of it. Let's take a listen to a quick before and after with no compression and then with the compression at the current attack time.
What it means to love. I'm the happiest man in all of creation.
Leveling things out and just amplifying that bottom end just a touch, or more accurately, it's making it so that the louder parts, the notes that have got more low end, we're actually giving that low end to the rest of the notes as well. So the ratio I'm being 4:1 is not too aggressive on those famous hardware compressors I said about. This is kind of the lowest ratio setting that you're really going to find. So we're clamping stuff down, we're not being too aggressive. If I were to bring this up, we're really going to get some slam. And then back at 4:1, you'll hear how it's just breathing a little bit more. So the release is all about the ramp backup, as we've seen in the previous instruments. We don't want this to be too low because, as we saw before, that's almost acting like a clipper. We just want the ramp backup to be nice and natural, and we're only really going to hear this on the long notes. So anything that's quite fast, quite busy, we're not going to hear this too much on. We're really looking at the longer notes. So as I bring this all the way down, we're going to hear something quite aggressive.
With the light in your eyes from a Rembrandt star. Thank you, Harper. Thank you, Jaden.
There we go, it's all about that ramp. As I bring it back up to like 75, we're not getting those obtrusive kind of artifact. We want the release to be there, we want it to gently come back up on the longer notes, we don't want it to be non-existent. But if it's too long, then on those longer notes especially, it's just going to overlap the attack portion. So let's take a look with it super long.
Everybody say hi to Babe. Hi, Babe. Miranda, how are you?
You'll notice that the trace is kind of just staying down all the time because we're not actually giving it the opportunity to release. So we want that down a bit further than that. So I think around that sub 100 kind of area was kind of right for this track.
Just finally completed work on my next single. And I have uploaded it to my distributor. And I decided to set a release date a month away. And I don't know, I could have done it sooner, but
What you will see some people do with bass, which is a cool approach to take, is they kind of split it. So you've got the low frequency stuff and the high frequency stuff. Typically this is going to be a little more long-winded and you can kind of dig into stuff a little bit more. Let's just see what we can do there. So if we create multi-band, two bands, then this is dealing with all the higher stuff. So we'll hear that now.
It's like, I don't want to hear just another Christmas song. Christmas song, I get it already.
And then this one, the original one, is dealing with the low end stuff.
Totally not a Christmas song. And I'm going to play it for you now. You get a preview of my next
And the reason you
single.
do this is because you want to control that low end differently than the high end. The high end is more about that attack, that kind of pick attack or the finger attack. And you want to be attacking that in a slightly different way. With the low end, soloed as it is now, we can work at just keeping this a bit more level. We don't want to pin it completely, but we can just compress it in a slightly different way. So if we actually bring that ratio down slightly, the low end is not the stuff that's creating that real attack. So we can be a little less aggressive with the ratio and bring that threshold down a touch, so we are just gently squeezing that for a bit more of a signal.
Just for the heck of it. Okay, here's the pre-save link to my new single, which I haven't played yet, but I will play it.
And then if we go to the top end, we can then make that so it's a little more aggressive and attacking a bit more of the time. So we really get that pick attack to come through, bring that attack up a touch.
That's Spotify pre-save. Okay, here we go. Oh, those eyes.
And I've got the release down very, very low because we're just aiming to deal with those transients, those high frequency, high mid-range kind of pick attack transients. So if I bring everything in and bring it all together, you're going to hear that we've got a little more control over each individual section.
Let's go somewhere. Get so far gone. No, we don't care. Come with me.
We can just allow those picks to come through a little more without sacrificing that low end. So let's hear it in the mix and just hear exactly how that now comes out. We should hear a little more cohesion in the bottom end, a little more kind of squash and everything just being a little bit more leveled, but we should hear a little bit more attack when we bring that compressor in. Yes, we're bringing up that low end and making it all feel a little bit fatter, a little bit more together, but we're able to control that top end slightly differently in multi-band mode, which is really great for an instrument that has quite a range of frequencies and a range of frequencies we want to affect differently. Hopefully this has given you some good starting points when you're working on guitar and bass compression. Compressing the bass is really about controlling the notes and making them more even, so we're dealing with fairly fast attack times to clamp down on the note on that transient before it gets too loud. With the guitars, we're controlling the attack of the transient, but also trying to bring up that low level information, which is where the note really lies. You can use this knowledge in your next mixes and really listen to how each individual parameter is affecting the sound of your instrument. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Hey folks, Sam Luce here with Isotope. Thanks for checking out part 2 of our in-depth video series where we're listening to compression, not just applying settings that we think should work. If we're listening to the effect a control has on a sound source, we can make a much better decision about how we should set it. First off, we took a look at vocals. Check it out up here if you've not already seen it. This time we're focusing on drums. Now, compressing drums is largely the opposite of compressing a vocal. Previously we saw how it was all about leveling out the take throughout the duration of a song. With drums, we're sometimes approaching it with that mindset, but sometimes we're looking at it in terms of fattening up a source. I'm going to keep coming back to this point. The reason I want to compress drums in the context of this track is because everything feels kind of separate and I want to make it sound like one instrument. In a moment we're going to go across to a different session that has some different issues that I'm going to deal with. So 2 different ways of approaching compressing a drum kit. The first on a bus level to add some more life, a bit more vibe. The second is compressing the bus to achieve a slightly different result, but also going in on a micro level and compressing individual drums.
Keep spamming the like button. And also,
First off, let's take a listen to the track and work out why we want to use compression in the first place.
Okay, so that's my upcoming single. My relay single and my upcoming single. You know, I have another brand new song that I just wrote. I'm not sure it's quite done yet.
This is a really vibey track. It's got that halftime shuffle groove. The drums are giving me a kind of Led Zeppelin feel, and to me it's screaming out for a bit more sustain and a bit more room. So this is 100% genre specific. I'm going to move on to something that's a totally different genre in a moment, but one key thing that we can do with compression is add some life to a drum kit, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Often when you see videos on compressing drums, you'll dive straight in and start slamming down the snare drum or a kick drum. That's not the approach I want to take here. I want to take a look at the entire kit and how one compressor can really shape not only the transients of the drums but the overall feel of the kit. And then when you bring in another compressor, you can achieve something totally different. Let's check it out. So I've actually got 2 compressors on here. I'm going to go through them in series and work out exactly what's going on. 2 vastly different sounds, and the second is actually more of a parallel compressor, but we'll get onto that in a moment. So first off, we've got the attack at 40 milliseconds, thereabout.
How long has that been going on for? How long has the second sound been there? Has that been going on all this time and I didn't know about it? This YouTube video just started auto-playing. But thank you for letting me know. Has that been going on for a long time? I hope not. That was annoying. You know, I don't usually wear my headphones. Maybe I should just wear my headphones while I'm on my live, because every once in a while, it doesn't happen often, but every once in a while some sound thing happens, and then I don't know it because I'm not listening on the headphones. So what was I saying? Oh, I have different. So on my website, I have like my songs broken up into albums by category. So, you know, of course there's relationship songs, and there's so many of those that I broke them up into like the happy ones and the, you know, the unhappy ones. And I have political songs, and I have mental health songs, and I have silly songs, and then I have like just, I call them life songs. By the way, my phone fell off the thing and the screen hit the corner and fortunately didn't break. I'm so happy. But I'm going to do a mental health song because I don't think I've done one of those tonight. Or maybe I have, but whether I have or not, I'm going to do one. I'm the life of the party, or I'm a loner. I'm an alpha go-getter, or a pushover. I'm a mover and a shaker, or a loser and a faker. It's too much up and down. It's time to find some level ground. I need a little balance, a little middle of the road. A little easy does it, a little steady as she goes. extremes. The challenge is balance. Let me stop for a minute and breathe deeply. Sort out the facts from all the feelings. It's no major intervention. The key is staying centered all through the ups and downs. Eyes out for that level ground. I need a little balance, a little middle of the road. A little easy does it, a little steady as she goes. If it's full speed ahead, or lying in bed, or riding in between the two extremes, the challenge is balance. It's not about going for greatness. It's not about giving up. It's knowing when good enough's enough. I need a little balance, a little middle of the road. A little easy does it, a little steady as she goes. If it's full speed ahead, or lying in bed, or riding in between the two extremes, the challenge is balance. Oh, the challenge is balance. Oh, thank you, Joy Boy, for... Is that a pineapple? I can't tell what that... Please tell me what that is. You know, it shows me the picture, and it doesn't tell me the name. So I want to properly thank you for that, because I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate you sending me the love. And I would love to know what that is called. I think I've seen that one before, but I just, you know... So please tell me the name of that. Anybody? Anybody want to tell me the name of that? That Joy Boy sent me. Okay. So everybody please keep hitting the like button, and hopefully we can get more people invited, and keep sharing the live. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Addie. Let's see now. We doing okay tonight, everybody? You know, I gotta do this song. This is, you know, I'm a big Deadhead. I don't know, anybody here like the Grateful Dead? Anybody even know who they are? You know, they were actually, they've had a really big influence on a lot of things and people without them realizing it. But, you know, they inspired the whole jam band genre. They're really their own genre. And I saw them, oh, hello. I don't know how long ago that message was there, or if that just got here, but hello. I can't see your name. It's in, like, your... Get Boxed Willie. Hello, Get Boxed Willie. So, anyway, I listen to them almost every day. You know, the lead guitarist and founder of the band, Jerry Garcia, died in 1995. And I wrote this tribute song, and then like a few weeks ago, the bass player passed away. So this song applies to him too. And this is a real song for me. This song represents a part of my life. It was back in high school, first time I heard him play. Music calling to me, I fell in love that day, as if he channeled magic from a spirit world. Got me clapping hands so hard it almost hurt. So let's go dancing in the rain, 'cause even though he's gone, drive all day or catch a plane to see him with the band. Space and time dissolving, all caught up in the dance. Then on the day he left us, I sat down and cried. Now I just give thanks for all he left behind. So let's go dancing in the rain, 'cause even though he's gone, the gift he gave won't fade away. The music lives on. Hey, cat. Old recordings come alive. Nothing left to do but smile, smile, smile. Oh, let's go dancing in the rain, 'cause even though he's gone, the gift he gave won't fade away. The music lives on. The music lives on. The music lives on. So I hope you like that. You like that song? Tell me what you think of that song. And everybody, if you're enjoying this, please keep hitting the like button and share the live and follow me if you're not already. Emily is here. How you doing, Kat? Thank you for sharing the live, Kat. How are you tonight? Elise is here. Hello. So I'm not sure how much longer I can go. As I mentioned, if you saw my... oh, Lacey. Hi. Thank you for sharing the live. So if you saw my story video, you know that I have really been struggling with this fatigue. I mean, I've had it for almost a year, and not so great. I mean, I've been so exhausted. I haven't been live since, I guess, last Tuesday, and I just felt like I gotta go live because, you know, otherwise, what am I doing here? I want to share my music with you all and, you know, hang out and tell stories and stuff. And if I don't go live, I'm just sitting here. You know, I've been like lying down like so much of the day. But I managed to get a burst of energy, but I'm really feeling, you know, I'm afraid that like I overdo it and then that makes it worse. And I want to just be able to keep going live. So I don't know how much, I don't know if I should even play any more songs. I can just hang around and chat for a while. If there's anybody to, I mean, today is really slow. I don't know why. But there haven't been as many people stopping by tonight. I hope the algorithm's suddenly not angry with me because I haven't been live in a few days. So now the algorithm's mad at me. I will teach you to not go live. But I've been posting videos. Actually, my videos haven't gotten as many views the last few days either. So that's strange. But we'll have to fix this somehow. But if you keep hitting the like button, that'll at least tell the algorithm that, hey, you're enjoying this, and it should send more people. Hey, Kayla. Emos. So I hope you can all hit the like button as many times as you possibly can. And feel free to ask me a question. Or just say something so I'll know you're here and having a good time. Hi, Maura. How are you? McKenna is here. Welcome. Hi, Cade. Hi, Beatrice. How are you? Eliza. And Spam is here. Well, we don't want spam. Well, we want spam, but we don't want to be spammed. Emma. Maddie. Freddie. Hey, how are you? Jenna. Hope. Mila. Welcome. N. Welcome to my live. Emily. Hello. It's good to see you. So, yeah, I'm getting, wondering if it's time to just wrap it up. And maybe try again tomorrow? Well, since you're all not very talkative this evening, and it's been a slow night, but I've been having fun, and I hope you have too. But I think I'm going to end the live. Now I can see your comments. This is the first comment I've seen. Have there been others? Maybe I've missed them. I see there's a list of viewers, and I see your name keep coming and then falling off the list and coming back and falling off the list. So I don't know if you're getting disconnected or something, but I see you're there now. I see Purva has joined and Ava is here. So everybody just, hit the like button as many times as you can. And that will tell the algorithm to stop blocking. At the beginning I don't know if this affected it, but at the beginning of the live, I was on my first song. I was playing, I don't know if you know my song, The Job Search Blues, right? I was playing that. And I got restricted. And then I appealed, and they approved my appeal. But since then, yeah, I know. Hey, Faith. So they approved the appeal, but still the activity tonight has been way below normal. And I don't know if that's because I haven't been live in a few days, because I've been so fatigued. I have this long COVID, I have chronic fatigue. And, if I overexert, maybe I did too much the other day and I just haven't recovered. And I hope this live doesn't make things get worse. But I just don't want to, I gotta go live. That's what I'm here for. So I hope this isn't making things worse. I hope I'm gonna still recover, but maybe I shouldn't do any more songs because, that's a lot of energy and this post-exertional malaise is what it's called. And it's terrible. So, but I like hanging out with you all. Thank you, Hope, for the follow. Thank you so much. Tell your friends also. I'll have them follow me. Yeah, well, if I'm just kind of sitting here chatting, it's not too bad. But yeah, I should probably. But now suddenly I see some more people have joined. Oh, thank you, Hope, for sharing the live. Thank you, Ara, for the like. Thank you, Ara, for the follow. It seems like once I pass the hour mark, suddenly the algorithm is saying, oh, maybe we should be nice to this guy again. Thank you, Lacey, for sharing the live. It looks like suddenly the activity is picking up just as I'm getting too tired to continue any longer. But I hate to leave once the activity is picking up. Oh, I want to check something. I set something up and I want to see if it worked. No, it did not work. How about that? See, this was supposed to notify some people when I went live. And it didn't seem to work. Oh, thank you, Purva, for the share. I see the likes are starting to go up. You know, the other day, we set a record. I don't know if you were here. But with your help, I mean, you set the record. I didn't set the record. I just sat here and while you were doing it, hitting the like button, we got 60,000 likes the other day. That's 10 times the number of likes that we have now. So the mystery of the algorithm, like we're all dependent, all creators are at the mercy of the mysterious algorithm. And we don't know, we don't know how to, if the algorithm doesn't like us, we don't know what we're doing wrong. And if the algorithm does like us, we think we know what we're doing right. And then we find out, wait, I'm still doing the same thing I did last time. And the algorithm liked me last time and it doesn't like me tonight. So, I wish there were a better way, but it's still good that the algorithm exists. Otherwise, none of you would be here, right? I don't know. I feel like doing another song, but I know I shouldn't, so I probably won't. Let's see how we're doing. Oh yeah, thank you. I see you're all hitting the like button now. The likes are going up. We're getting more and more likes. So I hate to leave as long as the likes are coming like this, because it means you like what's happening. You like being here, right? That's what the like button is telling me. So I guess I have my own internal algorithm. See, I'm just like TikTok. I see the likes coming in and I want to stay. Do you all like the light in the background? Let's see if it's working the way it's supposed to. No, it keeps resetting. I keep resetting it. I don't know how to stop it from doing this. I want it to be this. And I set it there, and it keeps changing itself on me. This is better, isn't it? This is much better. But, it has a mind of its own. I don't know how to get it to stay on this setting. I like it. It's all the colors of the rainbow, sort of, and it's slower. If it's too fast, I feel like it's distracting. But maybe, I don't know. What do you think? Let's see if we can get to 10,000. I see 8,400. That's awesome. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you all hitting the like button and sharing and following and I really appreciate you all who are doing this and just for being here. Oops. Now I lost my screen. Now I can't see you again. Now I see you. Hi, Audrey. Wait, I messed up the windows again. I gotta move things around. Okay. Now I can see everybody. Thank you, Purva, for sharing. Hi, Ilona. How are you? I see Just a Goose has been here for the whole time. I hope you're watching. You watching? 8,700 likes. We're getting close. We're getting close to the magic number of 10,000, which isn't really all that magic, but it feels magic, doesn't it? You, star. I think I missed part of that message, Kat. Did I miss something? $8,800. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Rachel, hi. How are you? Gigi, how are you tonight? Jackson, you're a rapper. Owen, how are you? Fence is here. Welcome. Oh, we're up to 9,000. We're getting there. Thank you so much, everybody, for hitting the like button and hitting it and hitting it. We need just 1,000 more likes. Chloe, how are you, Chloe? Possum time is here. Welcome. Kathleen, Kate, Celie, Evan, Emily. Hey, Evan and Dun Chow is here. And Kate, welcome everybody. We're trying to get to 10,000 likes. Soph and Shay are here, and Celie. I hate mispronouncing names because my name has been mispronounced so many times. Especially, I told the story last time, but I was in high school. Now, my name is like the easiest name. You should, I don't know, when I was in grade school, we were taught English. We learned phonics, which means you see how to let letters sound. I know phonics in English is kind of weird because there's so many exceptions. It almost doesn't make sense to learn phonics, but it still makes sense. The S sound is eh, and the E is like there's a short E and a long E, and if there's no vowel, then you use the short E, right? And so Seth, and TH is pronounced, so S-E-T-H, it should be easy to sound it out as Seth. But I'd get into school and, we'd have substitute teachers. And these are teachers. These people should know English better than anybody. And the substitute teacher would start reading the attendance, and they'd get to my name and they'd go, Seth Jackson. I'm like, really? I mean, Seth, it rhymes with Beth. Would you say beef? If you say B-E-T-H, would you say beef? But no, but they say Seth. Oh, we made it to 10,000 likes. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much, everybody. So, I see what people are here now, and I'm too tired to do more songs. Yeah, I know, isn't it though? And when I was a kid, I guess maybe there were more Seths than I remembered, but there was another Seth on my block, and he was the only Seth I knew growing up. And then I got to high school, and there was one other Seth in high school. And those are the only Seths I ever knew. Then I got to college, and I knew one Seth in my whole college career. So everywhere I went, there was one other Seth. And recently, the name has become a lot more popular. So I used to always have to spell my name for people. Like I'd call, I don't know, somebody on some company. Like I'd call them to place an order or something. Hi, Maddie. Hi, Elle. Thank you for the follow. So I'd call, whatever, some company customer service or just to place an order or whatever. And they'd say, or I'd call a doctor's office to make an appointment or something. And they go, and your name? And I go, Seth Jackson. And they go, Jeff? I know, always have to, Seth, S-E-T-H. And it's so annoying. But I don't have to do that so often anymore. I had to do it the other day once, but nowadays there's so many Seths. There's Seth Meyers, and, I think it was like that show Murder, She Wrote. One of the characters was named Seth. I feel like that's the turning point. That show made the name Seth become more popular. There's Seth Meyers and Seth MacFarlane, and there are a few, I can't think of the others, but I know there are several famous Seths nowadays. And hopefully I'll be famous too, with your help. It's really up to you whether I become famous. Thank you for the follow, Elle, if I didn't say that already. Thank you, Kat. I'm famous to you. I'm famous, I'm world famous within my household. I'm world famous in my family. I'm glad I'm famous to you, Symphony. So by the way, even if I'm not doing any more songs, you can still hear my music on my website, SethHillaryJackson.com. And you can hear me on Spotify or any streaming platform. And there is a link in my bio, and you can copy that into your browser, and that will take you to the smart link, which takes you to all of these places, my website, all my streaming, and all my social media, and you can follow me all those places. And on my website, you can actually download my music for free, and you also have the option, it says, name a price, or it's free, so you can donate if you choose. And you can also, I have merch on my website, which I haven't really talked much about tonight. Oh, thank you, Symphony, for sharing the live. And so I created, I have a line of merch that is inspired by my song lyrics. So there are certain songs. I have 5 songs that I did this with. There's a line in these songs that just stand out on their own. I feel like that line, all in and of itself, is a positive message that stands alone. So I created t-shirts and various other items with these lines. For example, the first one was, gratitude and a heartbeat, what more does anyone need? So I have a bunch of items with that. And then, a ray of hope is just enough for me. So I have the Ray of Hope line of items. All of them have t-shirts, and then some of them have hoodies, and some of them have coffee mugs and other stuff. And plus I also have, t-shirts with album covers. So those are all on my website, SethHillaryJackson.com. And again, there's a link in my bio, copy it into your browser, and you can go to my website and all my streaming and social media, and you can follow me in all those places. You can follow me to the ends of the earth. Oh, Sophia, how are you? And thank you for all the shares, Symphony. I really appreciate you. And Ilona, thank you for the share, and Kat for the share. Saint and Muji are here. Welcome, everybody. So I'm just kind of hanging out now. I because of my fatigue, I kind of stopped playing songs a little while ago. And I was about to leave, but I noticed people started coming and banging on that like button, and the likes have gone up by a lot in the last few minutes because you're all showing your appreciation, and I really appreciate you back for hitting those likes. And we're up over 10,000. We got 12,000 likes already. That's really amazing. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you all. And I got this list, this app. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It shows me a list of, it says top viewers, and names keep coming on and off, on and off, on and off. So I don't know how that works. And I don't know how it decides who the top viewers are. But right now, I'll tell you who the top viewers are according to this app. Symphony, Purva, Jasmine. Oh, Ilona was there. Oh no, now Hurain, and then Ilona and Lacey. Thank you all for being top viewers. And I don't know what you all got to do. Oh, and Saint is now in the top viewer list. And Lyric. Lyric. Do you write lyrics? Oh, thank you so much, Lyric. Is that your real name, or are you just like a lyricist? Or thank you for the share, Lyric. Because I love lyrics, I'm a songwriter. So lyrics and me go way back. And now Carenza is on the list. And Uncle Tony is on the list. And 8, oh no, heart. It just shows a heart emoji. And now C-Dubs is on the list. And Gab. So I don't know how it decides. It's your real name. That's a great name. It's unique. I don't think I've ever met anybody named Lyric before. Do you like your name? You must like your name. If you didn't like your name, you wouldn't be using it, right? You could go by anything you want on this app, right? That's a really nice name. I've never heard that. I wish I'd have thought of naming my kid Lyric. No, that's all right. My kids, they like their names, I think. But Lyric would have been a good name. Carissa, Ethan is here. So it has really been fun hanging out with you all, and I really appreciate you. Since I stopped, maybe I'm better off not playing songs. I don't know, I'm getting... You seem to be liking my live more when I'm not playing songs than when I am playing them. So I shouldn't say that, because if you want to hear my songs, I don't want you to stop liking my live now. But I'm glad you like... I won't stop playing. I mean, I'm stopping for tonight because of the overexertion, but I will play songs. Next time, I really want to try to go live again tomorrow. I can't promise, like every day, I have the intention of going live, and I won't stop. I start the day with the intention of going live, and then it's just like how exhausted I am with this chronic fatigue. I wish they'd find a cure. Like somebody told me, some nurse told me, oh, it'll go away in 18 months, I promise. Well, guess what? It's been more than 18 months and it hasn't gone away. And this past week has really been worse than normal. I had this one day, like last weekend, and this happens every once in a while. I have a day where I feel like, oh, this is, I mean, it's still not good, but it's like, oh, much better if every day were like this, it wouldn't be that bad. And then I guess maybe when that happens, I overexert, and then I get this post-exertional malaise. It's hard to know. It's hard to know why some days are worse than others. There is a thing called post-exertional malaise, and if you overexert, your symptoms get worse. And the problem is you don't know until it's too late. And when the symptoms do get worse, you don't really even know if it's because you overexerted or just the symptoms come and go. Yeah, I really hope I get better. Oh, God, that would be amazing. If I were better, I'd be live maybe every day. And I'd be singing songs, and I'd be going for a couple of hours at a time, and I'd be maybe going live more than once a day. But I don't know. I keep threatening to end the live, and then every time I go to hit the end stream button, it's like, no, I don't want to end the stream. Thank you, Kat. I really hope so too. I wish we would just get. You know what I did actually? I just got my COVID vaccine booster. I read somewhere like a year ago or so that they have all these theories. They don't know what causes long COVID, and maybe it's more than one thing causes it in different people. One of the theories is that the virus is still hidden in the body. And so there's the theory that getting a booster will improve the symptoms. So a year ago, I got the booster, and I actually did feel better for a couple of days, and I thought maybe it's working, but then that went away. So it could have been just a coincidence. But this time, I decided I'm going to get a different booster shot. There's three now. There's the two mRNA vaccines. There's the Pfizer and the Moderna, which I've been getting. And then there's this other one called Novavax, which is like the traditional style vaccine. It's an old technology basically, but they added something to make it stronger, some agent that makes it stronger. And there are people who swear by this vaccine. So I thought, what if I'll get the Novavax vaccine and see if that makes any difference in the symptoms. So I got that yesterday, and so far it hasn't made any difference in the symptoms. But I got it anyway. And I don't even know if I really need a vaccine anymore because I don't go out. When I go out, I wear my N95 mask. Here I am. This is me when I go out. I wear my you know what? I avoided COVID for 3 years because I was taking all the precautions, and I was masking and doing all the things. And I was going to the gym 6 days a week. And then, going to the gym with a mask on is kind of annoying, but it didn't bother me too much. But I was going to the gym and I was working out and I was in the best shape ever. And, the gym shut down for a while during the pandemic, and then they reopened and they advertised, oh, thank you for the follow, Malia. And they advertised, a new state-of-the-art ventilation system, but I didn't want to take a chance and I still was masking. And, I was one of the few people. Most people weren't masking. And I started wondering, is it really necessary to mask? These people are all masking. I don't know if they're getting sick or not. But then, I thought, I got to look at the data. So the CDC has a website. And on their website, it shows, you can look up your local area. And it shows, the transmission rate. And so I it's like, no, not safe. I gotta keep masking. And then one day, I looked it up and it said low risk in my area, low transmission. So I thought, okay, well, low transmission, and the gym has a ventilation. So I think I'm just gonna, go to the gym without masking. And that was the biggest mistake I ever made, because within a week I got COVID and I have never recovered. And I had to quit the gym because I can't work out anymore. Because post-exertional malaise. And I really wish I could go back to working out. I felt so good. My body was strong, and and I'm 68 years old. I'm 69 now, but the snow would come in the winter, and we had a couple of really big snowstorms, and I would shovel my own snow. So that was really exhausting. When we had 3 feet of snow, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I could have gotten a heart attack, but I did. I shoveled all my snow. Now I can't even shovel 1 inch because I get post-exertional malaise. Hi, Sophia. Hi, Bill. Yeah, it is really. So I wrote the song, which I played earlier tonight. I have this song called Long Haul, which talks about what it's like to have long COVID. And again, that song's also on my website and on Spotify and all the streaming platforms. So you can hear that. That's the intro. That's the intro to Long Haul. Well, we're up to 16K likes already. Now I'm wondering if I should stick around and see if we can get to 20K. 20K is the goal that I set for every live. And, we've been reaching it regularly, but tonight we were nowhere close. And now we're getting close. I wonder how long it would take to get to 20K likes. That would be totally awesome. And get that algorithm back to, to where it was. I took 5 days off, and then it seems like, I don't know if the algorithm was punishing me for that, or because at the beginning of my live, I got restricted. I was in the middle of playing Job Search Blues, if you know that song. That's a totally innocent song. And all of a sudden, restricted. So it stops recommending my live. But then I appealed, and it said appeal accepted, but then after that, it just wasn't sending anybody. I mean, it was sending some people, but not as many as usual. So if we can signal to the algorithm with more and more likes, maybe we'll be back to where we were before. Audrey E is here. Terry is now, and are now listed among the top viewers. And I don't know, and Lacey is back. So Lacey's name, Lacey, your name keeps coming on and off and on and off on this list of top viewers. And to me, you're a top viewer. You should always be on there. I don't see Kat. Kat, why is your name not there? You're a top viewer, but this app is not showing your name in this list. And I think that's not fair, because I know you're a top viewer. So I don't know how this app decides who the top viewers are. Purva is still there, is there, Terry, Lily, and Ilona is still there. Oh, Ilona just disappeared from the list. But Mia is here now. Oh, Mia's now shown as a top viewer. And Lacey, you're back as a top viewer again. I don't know if this app knows what it's doing by taking you up that list. Oh, now you're off again. And Kat, I don't know why you're not there, but in my mind, oh, you're still here, Ilona. So I don't know. Oh, you're back on the list again. He's on and off and on and off. I should write to the company that makes this app and ask them why this happens, shouldn't I? How does it determine who the top viewers are? The app is called Streamlabs. Oh, no, this is actually not Streamlabs. This is the TikTok site, because this is the TikTok Live Center that's doing this. So TikTok is the one making this decision. It's not Streamlabs. That just shows you that crazy TikTok algorithm, and it doesn't even know what it's doing. Alex, hey, Tanner is here. Zoe has joined. Welcome. All right, well, you know what? This has really been fun, but I really think maybe it's time. It's time to go. Oh, it's almost 20K? It says 17.5 on my screen. What does it say on your screen? If we're that close to 20K, I'll stay. Let me see what it says on... So I have two different apps. Yeah, it says 17,770. How long will it take to get to 20K? Should I stick around for 20K? You got to keep hitting that like button. Otherwise, it's going to take a long time. It would really be fun to get to 20K. It would feel great to get to 20K. Maddie. Maddie is here. Now we're at 18K. So I was almost getting ready to end the live. I was getting ready to end the live, Maddie, and then you showed up. So now I got to stick around until we get to 20K likes. You know, I keep saying I'm going to end the live, but then, you know, people come and then I don't want to leave and then, but, yeah, I know. It's already been, this is like one of the longest lives I've ever done, actually. I stopped playing songs like a half an hour ago because, you know, the fatigue. The fatigue. It looks like it didn't work, by the way. There was supposed to be an announcement in the announcements chat. It was supposed to automatically happen when I went live, and it didn't happen. I just checked the chat, and there's no announcement. So what I'm talking about is this Discord server that I've set up, and it's still not quite ready to open. I started opening it up like last week. No, I've been here for an hour and a half. So I opened up the server and some people joined, but then I was told, no, it's not ready yet. So stop inviting people. So it's almost done. I thought I had it done, but there's one more thing that I need to figure out how to do before the server is ready to really open up to everybody. That's what so that's the thing. I created roles. I have the roles, and I don't know how to make them available for people to see and to choose. But I created roles, and I just don't know how to get them, you know. I have these instructions. It says, choose a role. It's like, well, you know, how do they do this? My instruction is choose a role. And I don't know how to do it. So, that's what my agency is for. They help me, but I didn't think of that, and I ended the call with the guy, and I asked him a question. If you could tell me how to do it, that'd be really awesome. I could definitely appreciate if you tell me how to do that. So I have these roles. I'll tell you what the roles are. Well, first of all, there's a role that everybody gets. Everybody who joins is automatically a Seth head. And then I also have a role where, because I stream in multiple places. So there's a role that you can choose your main streaming platform where you watch my lives. So I have those set up as roles, and I want people to be able to choose those. And I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make them visible. I might be able to figure it out, because I have these bots that that have things to do with roles, and maybe I just have to. So the bots that I'll tell you which bots I have, and this was in consultation. I would have to do a poll. What would the poll do? The poll to do roles? Is that how I would do it? Well, I'll tell you the names of the bots. This is what so Sapphire, I have Sapphire, but then he had me do Sapphire, but then Sapphire didn't include the level up feature. So then he had me add, what's this one called? Arcane. So now I have two bots, and it says don't have multiple bots, but they both, maybe I could have found one that did everything, but this one didn't do that, and this one didn't do that. H20. My agent, the guy from my live agency, that's their job to help me with all this. Oh, 20K, we did it. Thank you, everybody. You're so awesome. All right, well, I totally appreciate the 20K likes, and I appreciate all the follows. If you're not following me, please do. If you're not following me yet, please follow. Oh, thank you, Kat. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you, Kane, for the follow. Everybody, please follow me before I go and before you go. And tell your friends. Send your friends my way. And I'm going to try, every day I wake up and think, can I go live today? And I gotta rest and rest and rest and rest. And then the last few days, it's okay, time to go live. And I'm always tired before I start, but usually I get energy. But the last few days, it's no, I'm too tired to even start. But today I decided I'm starting anyway. So I'm gonna see if I can do it tomorrow. And if I can't do it tomorrow, maybe I can do it and just do it for only a few minutes. I don't know. But I want to keep going live as much as I can. And if I can make it tomorrow, I will. And if I can't, then I'll try Monday. And it looks like, generally speaking, evenings have been better than afternoons. And they're usually easier for me to make it in the evening anyway. But I usually seem to get a better, more attendance in the evening. But, I'm still experimenting with different times. But most of my lives have been in the evening around 9 o'clock. That seems to be. So I really appreciate all of you being here. Again, please follow me before I end the live and before you leave. And I'm going to end the live really soon. I promise this time. I keep threatening to end the live, but then I just keep hanging on because I just like being with you all. All right.